Hello and welcome to the Chaos to Calm podcast, episode number 75. I am Sarah, the perimenopause naturopath, your guide through this journey of perimenopause. So, if you're over 40 and feeling like your changing hormones are hijacking your mood, your energy, and weight, and you'd like to change that in a holistic way, then this is the place for you, my friend, because each episode I share with you my views on what is happening in your body, why you're feeling the way you are, and what you can do about it, how you can change that with actionable advice to help you move from chaos to calm and feel more comfortable in your body. Thank you for joining me. Let's get into it. So, as the year winds down, I've been thinking a lot about how I want to feel heading into 2025, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally too. I know the holiday season is such a whirlwind. I was just talking with a client and she was feeling completely overwhelmed, really like a usual heavy workload as a full time paid work mum, plus the extra end of year stuff. Like she said, she's had something on every night this week. Plus, like this morning, she went and met someone at the end of the street to purchase secondhand textbooks for one of her children for next year. Like it's all happening. I know I don't have to tell you that because you're feeling it. I'm fortunate. I guess homeschool life, we do have some end of year stuff too, but also it's like just in the normal time when we do things. And I work for myself. So I'm having an end of year celebration with my 17-year-old who does some work for me in my business on Sunday night. So we are excited about that, going out, just the two of us having a chance to connect, but also, again, it's not really adding to my load. Anything adding to my load today, which I'm probably going to regret, is going to see a scary movie tonight with my 14-year-old that I agreed to because I thought it was a different movie. Then when I Googled it, watched the trailer, I'm probably going to be regretting it when it comes time to sleeping tonight. Anyway, let's hope not. Apparently, Hugh Grant gives the performance of his life. So, like my friend says to me, she's taking her son as well. If worst comes to worst, we're just watching Hugh Grant all night. Is that it? I'm not going to go on the side quest about how Hollywood lets men age differently to women, but yeah, he is still a great actor and great to watch. Anyway, it's a whirlwind now. I know that, and it's easy to get swept up in everything. Carving out a little time for reflection. It doesn't have to be like right now. You might do it. You might be listening to this podcast episode in that week, the week where everyone loses track of time and what day it is, the one between Christmas and the New Year. Perfect time for reflecting. You're kind of just there and you're flipping around. So, yeah, it's a great way to do it. I love going into the new year thinking about what I want to take with me, and what I don't want to take with me there as well. But the reason I've been thinking about it now is because recently I found myself on the couch with my cup of tea. I realized that I'd been feeling really off, really tired and sluggish, and reflecting back and thinking about what had happened and some old habits, coping mechanisms with stress had sort of crept back in. And then I was stuck in a vicious cycle and they were making me feel a bit rubbish as well. So, like in the last 6 months or a bit longer than that, I've been really busy with my normal workload, but also creating and launching Perimeno Go. So also had a fair bit of procrastination around the creation of that. So then I ended up finding myself kind of launching it and creating things at the same time. And it was hectic and busy for a long period of time. I'm definitely over that hump of it now, and I'm getting ready to set it up so that Perimeno Go is available to you whenever you want to join it. You can join it. So that'll be in the new year. But I had taken to being up late, not reading at night, scrolling on my phone, having more gyms on Friday or Saturday night than I would normally. I was skipping the gym and stuff. So I really was buffering. I was trying to reduce my stress. I was self-comforting, like I know lots of you do. So recently I've talked a bit about that in the emotional eating and drinking podcast episode as well. But I was really seeking those dopamine hits from food and drinks and scrolling and all those sorts of things instead of focusing on my daily, like my self care habits and getting those hits of dopamine in other ways or providing my body with what it needs. So, this is the power of reflection and review, which you can do at any time. It doesn't have to be the end of the year. But I'm going to talk about it today in the context of the end of the year and starting a fresh new year. And we're humans, our human brain loves the idea of a new year, new you, fresh start. I mean, the diet culture has us doing it every Monday. But yeah, my procrastination and all those things had caught up with me. I wasn't as self aware as I normally am with my anxiety, and my procrastinating got bad. And it was because I'd sort of let slip on my reflection and review. But, I didn't beat myself up. I didn't get spiral into guilt and I also didn't do that or sort of diet mindset or all or nothing of, oh, well, it's Christmas now as well or coming into Christmas. So I'll just let it slide and deal with it in January. Instead I sat down and I asked myself some questions that have helped me reset and recalibrate many times. And how do I want to feel? And what do I need right now? Being a friend to myself as well. What do you need? How can I support you? So they're really game changers. I think they're the key components for people that have really great health in the long term because they tune into what you need and thinking about problem solving and creating a solution from that rather than staying stuck in guilt or trying to get things perfect or whatever. They're really focused on self-awareness, self-reflection, and taking intentional action. And that's really important when it comes to our health or any aspect of your life as well. Like I've recently talked about, sorry, I don't remember which podcast episode it was, that guilt and judgment are very indulgent emotions and they keep us stuck. So the way out of that is to not focus on what you've done, but what you need and how you're going to give that to yourself. And it's what I was saying to this client this morning that I was talking to. So she was snacking and she's reaching for the little biscuits and the packets of those flavored cracker kind of things. Thinking about rather than just mindlessly doing it. This is really about living mindfully, which is something that I have covered for my clients in Perimeno Go. And I cover with my one-to-one clients as well, like I did with this person this morning. It's about living with intention and mindfulness as well. And reflection is how we do that in our life. And I know it's uncomfortable and it's awkward and you don't always want to do it, but it's actually really crucial for your health and happiness in the short term and the long term as well. You don't need to make drastic changes. We don't need to sort of swipe everything off the table and start again. It's often just about tuning in and identifying what our bodies need and being really curious about that. And then being creative and how do we provide that? And having that understanding of what your brain and what your body is telling you through these symptoms and messages is really important. And it's something that you hear me talking about it a lot because all of those symptoms that you feel, all those cravings, all of those things that are happening and those behaviors are telling you what your body needs. But we just have to tune into it because it's not necessarily those barbecue shapes or the chicken crimpies that you need. It's not the chocolate. It's not the wine. They're actually what your body's seeking is some neurotransmitter hits, some dopamine, some serotonin. There are happiness molecules, and that's what it's seeking. So reflection is really important part of that process and understanding it. So it's what I spend a lot of time talking with my clients about, and it's what's going to give you long-term health and happiness there as well, and reduce your stress as well. So yeah, combining that with your self-care hacks there as well. So yeah, for me, it was about prioritizing my sleep and going back to going to bed earlier, making sure the light is definitely switched off by 11 at the latest. not reading and putting my phone down before I even get in the bedroom, like turning it off and not looking at it again, and just reading to wind down there as well. So as well as, yeah, I think that was the main things that I took out that I realized that I needed. And also what I was doing was working all the time. So I wasn't actually having that joy and connection time as well. So what I tend to do is schedule something, playing cards with my kids or going for a walk with them or going to the gym with my husband after work, or I'd be cooking dinner with them, whatever. So I can't keep working and then get lost in that vortex of time after dinner and end up going to bed at midnight or 1 o'clock because I've got a second wind and working away there as well. So today, this podcast episode is a really long intro. I want to share how reflection and intentional goal setting can help you reconnect with your body, your energy, and what really matters without the pressure of doing it perfectly as well. But I'm going to talk to you about what a lot of people get wrong in terms of goal setting and understanding why they're doing something so that you don't make that mistake. But as you're setting some goals and intentions for the new year, you can be thinking about that as well. So like I said, reflection, I think, is the foundation of your lasting health, because most of us know what we should be doing for better health. And certainly my clients, I just say to them, the food is the easy bit. I can tell you that that's no problem at all. You'll know what to eat. That's easy. Putting it into practice is where the struggle comes in. And this is where reflection is really essential, because it's not about beating yourself up. It's not about guilt. It's not about judgment. It's about getting curious. What's been working? What hasn't? Why didn't that work? What got in the way of that? What went wrong? What would I do differently next time or in that situation next time? What habits are helping you feel your best and what ones are holding you back? This is not just end of year reflection. This is any time that you're trying to change your habits or behaviors. Reflection is your main tool. This is what you need to do, is constantly check in with yourself and reflect and review what you've been doing, how it's been working, what you need to tweak and adjust with it there as well. I used to wake up every day with joint pain, foggy head, no energy. Mornings were like almost like a punishment. I needed coffee to get going. I would have multiple coffees to sort of get to a point of actually functioning as a human. So, and I was really stiff and sore getting out of bed and all those things as well. So now I use my mornings as a check-in. And this is what I tell my clients as well. Pick a time of the day or an activity that you can gauge or use as a gauge. So mornings used to be really rubbish for me. I know if I wake up and I'm feeling not refreshed in my sleep or groggy or perhaps in pain, well, now I know what's contributing to that. Because once I adjusted what I was eating and what I was doing and sort of lost that weight, that 20 kilos that I lost, then I felt great in the mornings. So I had that marker or that barometer of, okay, so this is how I actually can feel in the morning. Even as a now 50-year-old woman, this is how I can feel. If I'm not feeling that way when I wake up in the morning, if I'm not waking up refreshed or ready to get out of bed, and then when I get out of bed, if I'm in pain, I'm reflecting and reviewing while I'm walking down the hall, going about my morning, making my breakfast and my pot of coffee and things like that. They're my check-in point, my natural reflection and review. I'll also do it a little bit in the evening as well when I hop into bed. How am I feeling? How was the day? What went well? What would I change up next time? I try not to overdo it in the evening because I try and do that reflection of the day before I'm in bed, because otherwise it can trigger your brain to just start racing away there as well. So I'm always reflecting and reviewing. It's just part of my day and what I do now. Tuning in, what do I need? What is my body telling me and what does it need? So I can adjust with compassion and love and kindness, not criticism and not judgment or guilt there at all. So like a classic wine time is a great example here. Many of my clients, I had one I remember distinctly because she told me she needed it and she definitely wasn't going to be able to cut that out because it was her stress relief mechanism. Always a couple of wines or more at the end of the day and then while she was getting dinner ready. Like she deserved it, she'd earned it. But what I was to say, what I said to her was that it's not about the wine, it's actually the ritual. And this is the thing that addiction research has told us or shown us as well. It's not about the substance, it's actually just about the ritual. So the hit that, say, a drug user gets is not from the taking the drug itself, the hit of the actual drug hitting the bloodstream. It's about the ritual and the way they go about it. So for you, it might be that ritual of getting home from work, undo the bottle of wine, and sit down and have a drink. So what it actually needs is like in what I talked to this client about, it's the ritual of pausing and decompressing. It's like wine, the first glass of wine does give you a little dopamine hit. It's, it gives you that relief and it gives you that sort of that short-term happiness molecule that dopamine is. So how do we harness those rituals, those habits, and still give you the pause and the decompression and the debrief of the day without the wine? It's not actually the wine that you need. You need to sit down and take a break and reset and have that sort of transition between coming home or from one task to the other. And natural for lots of us, what we do is we rush in and rush out, rush on to the next thing. So part of this is reflecting and reviewing is actually also giving you time to pause between tasks and reset and rebalance before moving on. So for that client, we switched over to, say, soda water with lime, put your favorite playlist on in the background. She could have a dance if she wanted to, or she could sit and chat with her partner or someone else in the house to debrief her day, because that was the important component of it, was that debrief and that pause and decompression before she moved on to making dinner and all those other things. So, of course, she felt a whole lot better for not having a liver, not having to deal with all that alcohol. And now it was supporting her health rather than working against it there as well. So this is what reflection is all about, understanding what you need, like truly what you need, and finding ways to meet that need in a way that serves you. So what most people get wrong about goal setting is they either set goals that are too big or too vague. Like, I want to lose 10 kilos or I should exercise more. So they sound good or they're what we think we should do, but they kind of lack direction and they're not specific there as well. So instead of thinking like, oh, well, I need to get fit, let's think about it as more specific and actionable. So maybe I'll walk for 30 minutes 4 times a week, or I'll go to the gym to the body pump class twice a week, and I'll go on the elliptical trainer twice a week when I go there. So it's very concrete and specific. You're not chasing like an abstract ideal. Our brain loves specificity and it loves routine and rhythm as well. It functions for most of us best in that way. Even if it's not a very structured routine, that having a clear idea of what you're aiming for makes it more doable, more actionable for you. And you can also fit it into your life. So try and stretch yourself a little and make it too easy for yourself. But same as like if you know you need more sleep, like instead of just saying, oh, I need more sleep, that my goal is I'm going to sleep more, try like I'll be in bed by 10 p.m. at least 4 nights per week. Or I'll be in bed by 9:30 and read till 10 and light out. Same with like I'm going to eat better. 2020, at the start of the year is notorious. We do those sorts of things. I'm going to eat better in 2025. Okay, so how does that look for you? Let's make it specific. Let's make it actionable. Maybe you'll add some veggies to your lunch every day. And it's the small actions really that build momentum, and that's what leads to lasting change. So I have this on my desk in front of it, this little saying, and it says, to make a change, start with a few minutes a day. And really what it is, the longest journey of 500 miles. Starts with a step. I know there's an actual quote all around that, but I can't remember it for the life of me right now. But it all just starts with one step, one small change, and then you can get momentum and grow from that time. So that's what people get wrong about their goals, is they're too abstract, too vague. The other thing to think about as well is finding your why, because this is how you stay motivated. And it's one of the biggest lessons I learned. You have to really deeply understand your reason why you're doing something and also love it. Because if your why is something vague, it's guilt driven, or maybe it's based on someone else's expectations, it's going to fall apart when life gets busy. It's not going to keep you motivated and keep you on task. And so, if you think about it and dig deep with yourself, why do you want to lose weight? Maybe it's because you want to feel better in your clothes, or maybe you don't want to buy a bigger set of clothes. But if we dig deeper, maybe for one of my clients, the real reason was they didn't want to sit on the beach watching their family do all the fun stuff on our holidays. And this was something that I felt strongly about. I didn't want to sit on the beach watching my family, or sit on the sidelines watching my family do all the fun stuff on holidays. For this client, they wanted to feel strong enough to go kayaking with their kids on their family holiday. So connecting into that and the joy and the adventure and the memories you're going to make together, that's really motivating. Much more than oh yeah, I'll feel more comfortable in my clothes. But you can always buy a bigger size of clothes or get some elastic waist pants. But connecting into something that's really deeply motivating and meaningful and emotionally powerful, that's going to keep you focused on your goals regardless of what's going on. So think about, what will this goal give me? Why? Why do I want that? Why do I want to feel that way? What do I want from it? Keep digging down, keep asking yourself why until you hit onto something that feels really real. And that's where you get that motivation that lasts. All right. So getting started. It's the end of 2024. We're moving into 2025. So I'm going to say, ask yourself this question: how do I want to feel in 2025? And let this guide your reflection there as well. Think about all areas of your life. Don't just think about physically how you want to feel. How do you want to feel emotionally, mentally? How do you want your work and your life balance to be? Thinking about all of that there as well. In all of those areas that impact your health and your happiness, your physical self, your physical activity, your nutrition, your rest and sleep, your relationships, even your personal development. Personal development is not just for work. It's certainly for you as well to grow and evolve as a human into your best self. So then ask yourself, when you're thinking about all those different areas of your life, what habits have supported me this year? What's felt challenging? Why? Why did it feel challenging? What would you change or approach differently next time to make it less challenging? And where do you want to grow, or where do you want to make changes or improvements in your life there as well? So you end up with a really great big list. And just start small. Once you've reflected on all of that, just think of one goal and one action-based goal. Just maybe get started. It's also great to have a big impossible goal as well, because even if you don't hit that impossible goal, you'll have a great journey along the way. But you have to be really mentally focused with a large impossible goal, because it's too easy to write it off and say, oh, I'm never going to get there. You need to break it down into smaller goals, but also have some other smaller goals and goals that will stretch you, but that you can achieve definitely there as well, and really help you take the steps and create the habits that you need to get to that, what feels like a big impossible goal there as well. So try and focus on adding in supportive habits rather than taking away things that you enjoy. Because when you're taking away stuff, your inner child just gets triggered. And you're like, oh, don't tell me what to do, or you can't make me do that, or I'm not missing out. So yeah, I suggest trying to add in, crowd out the other the stuff that you don't want in there by adding more of the good stuff and things that you enjoy. So some small action-based goals might be to create a calming like wind down routine at night. So I talked about that last podcast episode about sleep. Instead of just like aiming, I'm going to get 8 hours sleep a night, one of your goals might be about creating a calming wind down routine at night and then using that every night then there as well. And like I said as well, getting into bed by 10 p.m. So give yourself some specific actionable goals around that, getting more sleep. Another action-based goal, small goal, might be take a 15-minute walk after dinner. It's going to help with your digestion, your blood glucose and your insulin levels, and clear your mind and help you avoid those after dinner munchies or the sweets, that need for sweets there as well, if that's something that you're aiming for there as well. And like I mentioned, maybe add some veggies into your lunch each day rather than restricting or telling yourself that you're not going to do particular things. Let's focus on adding in your veggies or making sure you've got your protein component on your plate, or adding in your phytoestrogens or your healthy fats, whatever it might be for you. And yeah, lots of other podcast episodes that I've got for you that will help you with that. I've got the perimenopause diet one and others there as well. So small, specific goals that will help you build momentum. You'll feel good. You get a dopamine hit when you check off your goal and when you do it. And they start creating those healthy long-term habits for you there as well. Now, one thing that I love doing is using anchors to keep your goals sort of front of mind. You create reminders of your goals in your daily environment. So they could be visual, sensory, written, or habit cues that connect you back to your intentions there. I had for a long time a bracelet that I got at a water temple in Bali, and that retreat to Bali was one of the first times I'd really prioritized myself and my self-care and my health. And it sort of started a snowball effect of looking after myself. So that reminded me how it felt when I focused on me and what my needs were. So I wore that for a long time and it broke. The other thing I have is a Balinese note in my purse that reminds me of that retreat and how that felt each time, how that felt when I looked after myself and cared for myself. So it reminds me to do my daily self-care habits that are part of my goals and part of the things that I do. Maybe you have a specific essential oil that you associate with your goals or that you're thinking about. Maybe it's like if you want to go kayaking down a river or at the beach with your family on a holiday, you might have like an ocean smelling blend essential oil that triggers that off for you there as well. Maybe you've got a quote that you keep on the fridge, or you've written your goal and it's around the house or on the mirror or wherever it might be. Or maybe you associate like a song with one of your goals or something like that. So every time you hear it, you're thinking about your goal and you're excited and inspired to be working towards it. So anchors just help keep your goals visible in front of mind, and it can be like a gentle reset or reminder, especially when life feels chaotic. So something else to do before you dive into new goals and fresh start, all of that, is like Boxing Day. It was all about, my 10-year-old asked me, "What's Boxing Day, Mum? Why did they call it that?" And it's about boxing up the old and clearing out the old, ready for the new and the new gifts or new year and all of that as well. So thinking about that for yourself as well before you get into new goals and the new year, fresh start, blah, blah, blah. Take a moment and clear some clutter. Again, that time between Christmas and New Year is perfect for it. And I'm not just talking about physical, I'm talking about emotionally and mentally as well. Maybe, declutter your kitchen. Maybe you simplify your calendar for the new year, reduce some activities or remove some activities and not overschedule yourself so much. Or maybe there'll be some habits or beliefs or thoughts that you get declutter and get rid of. And maybe it's going through your social media and unfollowing accounts that don't serve you or you don't feel good about when you see. We're all thinking about decluttering, create space for your life that you're building for the year ahead, and you're making way for you to meet your goals and get to your goals. So reflection, intentional goal setting, it's of course not about perfection or making more for you to do or more pressure, more workload. It's really about tuning into what matters, what you need, and meeting your needs with kindness and creating a life that really supports your well-being and creating a life that you love, that you don't need to escape from. You don't need to buffer or emotionally eat or drink to avoid feeling the feelings that come up from the life that you're living. And I think if I really hate the messaging around the new year, new you. It's very toxic. It's very damaging. But one thing, if it is going to bring you some time to reflect and thinking about what really matters and how to meet your needs with kindness and self compassion and love, then I'm all for that. I'm here for that. And I really want you to try and work and incorporate that reflection and that review and creating a life that supports your well-being and your health and your happiness there as well, because that's what it's all about, I think. That's why I do it. I know how good I can feel regardless of what my number age is, and that's what I want for myself and for everyone else around me, for the women that I work with. I want them to feel good. I want them to see what it's like to live a life that you deeply love and you don't need to escape from and you enjoy, because it's actually what you deserve. It is possible, but it takes commitment to yourself and to get that. And I think if we start thinking about a new year and a fresh start, let's make that fresh start be that we're committed to being kind to ourselves and loving on ourselves and meeting our needs, our physical and mental needs. Because that's the thing with perimenopause. It really shines a light where there's any imbalance and you'll get lots of symptoms. And you might think that maybe, or you get told a lot, I see that this messaging a lot, that we just need more hormones. But actually, I just firmly feel that like our hormones get out of balance when our life is out of balance. And I'm not just talking of female hormones, but all the other hormones in our body as well. So it's really about, if we're going to have new year, new you, let's have a new year with balance incorporated into it and love and kindness for ourselves and really enjoying life there as well. So, as I said, it's something I'm doing a lot with my clients. If you want some more guidance on your health journey and how, like, not just the food, like I said, the food's a really easy bit. I can teach you that, no problems at all. I can also help you with the mental and emotional and the habit change aspect of it as well. It's something I do a lot of with my one-to-one clients, but also in Perimeno Go. So you can join the wait list right now. Doors are opening early in January. And like I said, it'll be available for you whenever you like from that time there as well. So it's a really supportive environment, lots of support from me to answer your questions and help you make the changes that you need to do to create that lasting change in your health, reduce your perimenopause symptoms, and if weight loss is part of that for you as well, helping you stop that weight gain and reverse it there as well. So you can find the link to Perimeno Go to join the wait list and those other episodes and resources I've mentioned today in the show notes. Either wherever you're listening, we'll have the show notes, or you can go to www.chaos2calmpodcast.com and find them there. And while you're there, please, if you did enjoy the episode, please subscribe so you don't miss an update. And I'd also love it if you could leave a quick rating or review. That helps more women get shown the podcast and know that, and then learn that there's other options in perimenopause there as well. Of course, if you know someone who'd benefit from the content, please do share that with them. And that, my friend, is all for this episode and for 2024 of Chaos to Calm podcast. So thank you so much for listening and sharing your time with me today in this episode, but right through 2024. I really appreciate that. I've created 43 episodes with you and talked for 1,320 minutes in that time. So thank you for listening and sharing your ears with me and your time with me. And I hope that you have gotten some tips and advice and some deeper understanding of what's going on in your body, what it needs through perimenopause and beyond. so that you can, feel more comfortable in your body and clothes again. In the next episode, which will come out in 2025, I am going to be talking about how to kickstart your health in 2025 and set yourself up for a great year ahead. So until then, I'm wishing you a peaceful end to 2024 and start to 2025, and keep transforming your perimenopause from chaos to calm.